Welcome to Verily Verified, a podcast that brings together leaders to discuss community, culture, and politics in the hip-hop generation. And now, please welcome your hosts, Biz and Rich Grills.
What's going on? It's your boy Biz, here for another episode of Verily Verified. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you enjoy the show, man. Today, got a special guest. All my guests is special, even though, but I'm going to say that because they special in their own right. They special to me. You know what I'm saying? Somebody I got on the show that I love. It's a dear cousin of mine, man. It's his family. But it's he not up here just because if he wasn't family, I still have him up here because I'm for everything that he's doing. I appreciate it. You know, it's my big cousin, so a lot of who he is who I am. You know what I'm saying? A lot that same spirit. You know, this is somebody that ran with my pops. You know what I'm saying? This is that type of family. But I'm not even gonna get too into it. I want to let him introduce himself like we normally do on the show. Let him tell you who he is, what he's about, you know, and jump on in. It's my cousin, Kenneth Chamberlain Jr. What's up, cuzzo?
You know.
What's up, Buzzy?
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
You know, as I said earlier, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm Kenneth Chamberlain Jr. I tell people I'm a hero to some, troublemaker to others.
Yes, sir.
All depends on what side of the fence you're standing on.
Yes, sir.
I am one of the co-founders of the Westchester Coalition for Police Reform, founded in 2012 after my father was killed in White Plains, New York in 2011. I sit on the board of the Civil Liberties Union, Lower Hudson Valley. I am also one of the co-founders of the Westchester Black Political Conference.
Yes, sir.
And the newly founded 100 Fathers, Black Fathers Who Care.
Yeah.
We are just launching that now, but it's definitely time that these Black fathers be recognized. We hear a lot about the Black mothers in the fights, and they minimize the work of the Black father. I don't know if that is intentional or not. I'm not going to get into all the conspiracies around that, but
I don't know, bro.
I think that
this is something that was heavy on my spirit.
we're
going.
We're getting it going, and once we get it up and running, we hope for it to expand through all the states, where you have 100 Black fathers who care in every state. You know, and it's not limited to 100.
Facts,
you
but
know?
at least.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, other than that, you know, I'm just a regular guy.
Yeah.
You know, trying to stay out the way. That's it. Trying to stay out the way.
Yo, cuzzo, I want you to I can't allow things to happen in my life when I see God's fingerprints on it so strongly and I don't recognize, you know what I'm saying, what it's about, right? So to even let the people know, like, even how this happened, right? I hit up my cuz and checking on him, you know, it's holiday time and all of this stuff, and but I still want to drop the bug in his ear because I'm wanting to work out a way to where we could get him on the show. Like, you know, I'm been watching what he's doing. I'm for it. You know, if I could help in any way, I definitely want to do that. And so I'm shooting it out, and I'm kind of like, you know, I'm kind of looking further down the road. I'm like, yeah, let me just kind of, because as other situations is turning around and opening up, like, you know, we gonna be taking this on the road more. You know what I'm saying, different states and stuff, and Cuzzo in New York. And I'm like, yeah, let me try to just try to get a rough idea what his schedule kind of be looking at, this, that, and the third. So I sent him a message, and this week, it was a busy week for me anyway, between here, New York, North Carolina and stuff, all in a matter of like 5 days. I'm like, you know what I'm saying, I just shot out a message, and I'm watching the messages come back. It was a little while later, they start busting back in, like, yo, yo, what's good, cuzzo? Yo, how you feeling? Da-da-da. Hey, yo, listen, I'm going to be in Maryland this weekend. Yo, it's my note. And when the joints is coming in, I'm like, fool, cuz. Like, that's where we record at. Like, I'm like, let me see if he available. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where he going to, yo, cuz, yo, straight to it. Because, you know, we ain't going to run around like, yo, now, what it's looking like for you? I want you to get you on this podcast, like family. What up? We there. That's it. What's the time? ASAP. You know what I'm saying?
It's a fact.
And it was crazy how it all worked out because I was even I'm like, damn, I want to squeeze it in on the weekend, but I got to be in North Carolina. How can I do this? But he like, well, I'm going to be there for the whole week. We record on the Tuesdays, Wednesdays anyway. So I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. We going with the flow. This got nothing to do with us. Like, this got nothing to do with me. This got nothing to do, you know what I'm saying? It's bigger plans. But to double down on that power, when you getting out the car, you like, yo, I'm on this meeting talking about 100 black fathers. And I said, oh, yeah, we gonna have to chop it up about that inside. Like, because we wasn't even like, you know, the focus. A lot of times we start this show with a main focus. But then, like, when people come here, we barely even touch what the person came for. And you know what I'm saying, the last show we had like 3 hours of footage, never even got to the subject of what I wanted to even chop, but the jewels, you see what I'm saying, that we was able to draw, it was so powerful. But the point you just said about the 100 black fathers and the struggle, I was talking about this some time ago. And me, I got this ability of catching patterns, right? And and I say it's an ability because I feel like when other people ain't doing it, they just don't have the ability. I don't want to think people aren't doing this, that people don't want to think or don't want to know this stuff. I just want to think that they just don't have this, like, right? I want to give the excuse up because these things be blatant to me. And when you make the point about you don't know if it's a conspiracy, well, it triggered me first when I believe it was when Breonna Taylor was shot. And immediately I started seeing this overflow of, oh man, the black woman isn't protected. You know, the black woman has to wake up in a world where she's getting shot and has to bury her kids. Then that was the thing, because after Breonna, I seen the George Floyd, and in that video, he cries out for his mother, right? And this is a natural instinct of all creatures, right? Puppies, babies, they cry for mama, right? And the second you start talking about more, right, you're pitting us against each other. Nobody is treated worse than, and nobody's more disrespected than. Because what you're doing is you're creating this idea that, again, us black men, there's no emotions there. There's no feelings there. That all of these, like, and I think what hit me hard was, because I have a son now. So I said, listen, man, there's no comparison to how a parent feels when they lose a child. But from a father's perspective, like, let's not forget, a mother's the job is to nurture, right? The father's job is to protect and provide. Protect, though, first, and provide. How do people think that these fathers are feeling when they're seeing their children be killed? Their children, like, I was watching a video the other day, and the joint struck me so hard because it was a young man. I couldn't really tell their ethnicity, but the young man, he had just got pulled over by the police. The police is and he's like, it's obviously whatever happened right before the video was showing. He must have rolled up his window or something. He's like, why did you roll your window up? This cop. He's like, I have the right to roll up my window. Like, he's like, yeah, but why would you roll it up now? Okay, there's no law against rolling up your window, but, he's badgering him, and it's getting heated. At that moment, his father pulls up. His father's on the other side, and, his father's like, yeah, he watching what's going on. And he's like, yo, he's like, what's going on? And the joint that hit me so hard was the son says, Dad, I did what you told me to do. I rolled my window. Now, right there, like it weighed on me because I'm like, damn, like this father, you know what I'm saying, living in this neighborhood, like felt like he gave his son the tools for his protection when he's not around. He's here witnessing the tools that he gave his son fail. Right? And in turn, he ends up getting locked up for standing by. Yo, we are in a bad place. You get what I'm saying? Because we're not realizing the psychological effects this is having on men, black men everywhere. When you're growing up in a world where you feel like you cannot protect and in some cases provide for your family. You get what I'm saying? And then it's like, while this is happening, you have the audacity to create a narrative in which only our mothers are hurt. Only our mothers are destroyed when our children fall. Our little black boys. Like, it's almost like a double down on the disrespect. It is a conspiracy. I'll go so far to say it because I've seen the pattern too much. Like, I'm seeing this act. That's why it's like, bro, like when you said this shit, it was so profound to me. Like, because I'm like, I've been feeling this way. I've been paying attention to the blatant, the blatant hypocrisies that's been going on. You see what I'm saying? Where there's accountability, like when you just sit down and lock into the whole one being accountable for. We're living in a world today where a black man can constantly be told what being a man is and how he does not measure up to it. But he can never open up his mouth and say the same to a woman. He can never say what it is to be a woman to a woman because the first thing that he's told is, you're not a woman. That's not your place. But every time he turns around, he's being told, if you're not doing this, you're not a man. Oh, real men do this. Oh, if you, it's going down to the point where I'm seeing women talk about if you don't pay for their kids' food while they're being babysitted, they're not a real man. It's a constant judging. It's a constant beating down. At the same time, when you say protection and providing, you're giving that avenue to our women, whether it be through social services with the provisions, and then the protection with their systems, the police and this, that, and the third. Why does she need us? Why?
Why does she need us? And also looking at it from the perspective of they got rid of us and created a system
to supplement us.
To supplement the black man in America.
Supplement the black man.
Like if you look at the prison industrial complex, if you look at mass incarceration, if you look at the environment that was created for black men to do just that, protect and provide for their families, it became very turbulent. And the environment caused a lot of black men to make decisions at the core of it was to protect and provide for their families.
Natural instinct.
Beyond what society would allow them to do, as long as the black man circumvented his character and the way his swagger to the popular trends of essentially the people who still aim to oppress them. So
Facts.
You got to know how to walk that walk.
Yeah.
You got to know how to talk that talk. You got to know how to put on that suit. You got to know how to code switch. You got to know how your code was never enough.
Facts.
The black man's code became something that was degraded.
Yeah.
Something that you had to temper, something that you had to control to advance in America.
Yeah.
But then we see a whole bunch of black men who say, nah, I'm going to keep my code and I'm going to protect and provide for my family. And then those men got attacked. And then you see social services with the great deal and all of those types of things just getting into the history of the situation.
Well, see, and that is, look, it's so many different areas you can take that. You can go as far back as the slavery and look at how they would emasculate the black male in front of his wife, in front of his children. It's the same thing that you see some law enforcement do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be driving in my car and you pull me over and you're cursing me out with my children in the car.
Facts.
It's not going to happen.
Facts.
Okay? We're going to have a different type of dialogue. I always say, if you respect me, I'll respect you. You disrespect me, I'm going to respect you to a point. You take it past that, then whatever door you want to walk through, we're going to walk through that door together.
Yes, sir.
You know? So this is the whole problem. Right now, you see me with jeans on, with a hoodie that says Justice for Kenneth Chamberlain Sr. But normally, anytime I do any type of interviews, podcasts, anything, I'm in a suit and tie.
Yeah.
Why? Because I will not be taken seriously as a black man any other way, you know, in most media outlets, especially mainstream media. And this is why you need outlets like this to be able to come on and really have this conversation and talk about the different things that you see happening out there. But when you were talking about, you know, the protecting of your children, you know, even the protecting of our elders, you know, in these communities, you know, for those that don't know, my father was killed by police almost 10 years ago. He accidentally triggered his life aid pendant, and the end result was him being killed. He was mocked, taunted, called a nigger, tasered, shot with a beanbag shotgun 4 times, and then shot and killed, police alleging that he posed an imminent threat to life or well-being. All right? The Westchester County District Attorney at that time did not indict these officers, and even when they said, what about the word nigger that was used, she said, yes, it was used, but it was used as a tactic to distract my father, which I never in my life ever heard.
Oh, man.
You know, so me as a man, it weighed heavy on me because I knew my father battled with a lot of medical issues. And I only lived 5 minutes away and didn't know this was happening. And to this day, it bothers me that I could not get to 135 South Lexington in White Plains to save my father. But then some people say, had you gotten there, you'd be dead because they would have killed you because there's no way that you would have stood there and let them attack your father.
Let me tell you something real quick, brother. You gotta look at the lives you saving now with what you doing. You got to look at the lives you saving now with what you doing. And you know your father better than anybody else. Would he trade his life for the lives that you saving now? That's the type of questions you got to ask yourself, because that's when we start to understand God's glory. It happens in a very dark time, but it's very bright when we start to realize. That's what you got to realize. Like, you wasn't there because you had to be here. And as hard as that shit gonna be, like, cause there's like, you know what I'm saying? You know, when I lost my pop, it was things I had to understand to be like, you know, like, how is this good? I know it's good because everything so far has been good. How is this good though? But you gotta look at the energy that gave you. Because at the end of the day, every life you saved, he saves. Your body count is his body count, because you wouldn't be out here catching these bodies if he didn't go through what he went through.
You're right. And it is hard to look at from that perspective when you're in the mix with it. You know, and then if that didn't make matters worse, then a little over a year ago, and you know this, I lose my daughter in a car accident. You know, now, losing my father devastated me. Why? Because my dad was like, you know, it's like Superman to me. It's like, you know, even in his elder years, you know, nobody played with my father. Okay, because you knew, like, you know, it was going to be an issue. But when I lost my daughter, I can't even begin to describe the pain that I felt from losing my child. And that was in a car accident, not at the hands of law enforcement, you know, not some robbery going wrong or anything like that. That was just a car accident, and it devastated me. And, you know, even when I think about it to this day, like, I miss the conversations the FaceTime conversations we would have, because she was in the Navy. So she would FaceTime me and we'd have those conversations. And like I said, I mean, it devastated me. And I say that to say that, did her mother hurt more than me? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
You know, the same pain she was feeling is
Facts.
the same pain that I was feeling.
Facts.
Because she's a part of me too.
Facts.
You know, so I was feeling that same pain. You know, I couldn't talk, you know, because people were like, you know, is it true? Like, even when y'all called me, you know, and you was like, yo, cousin, what's going on? What's going on? Is it true? You know, and I'm like, yes, you know. And then looking at my other children and having to go into my room and act like I'm making a phone call because I didn't want them to see me break down. So I closed the door, you know, and then had to get myself together. And that's something that I've been having to deal with, you know. So yeah, you're right. Men feel the same type of pain that the woman feels. Yes, you had her, but I helped you create her.
Yeah.
Okay? I helped you create this child. So I'm feeling that pain too. And fathers, there are good black fathers out here.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
There are good black fathers. We are out here and we care and we want to help. And sometimes we're not just helping our own kids. We're helping other kids
Facts.
too.
Facts.
You know?
Facts.
So in these situations, or let me now just backtrack and go back to like when my father was killed. I look at, when you look at society and you look at the media, they're always showing the moms who lost their children, the moms who
coached them through basketball,
you know,
and everything.
And my thing is this. I love the mothers of the movement. They are strong. They have no problem voicing what they feel.
Gosh. Oh my gosh.
They will say it. You know, I have mothers of the movement surrounding me.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's not that many black men that stand with me. So it is the mothers of the movement that come out and stand with me.
That's how the Black Panther movement went.
You know, and a lot of people will say, well, what do you attribute the failure of black men getting involved in this fight? And I always say, to me, it just seems like we have a form of Stockholm syndrome. We side with our abusers. You know, if I tell you, oh man, Pookie just got shot down the block by police. Oh, I wonder what Pookie did.
Yeah.
How you know Pookie wasn't in a graduate program?
Yeah,
you know,
facts.
how you know Pookie wasn't just on his way home, minding his business?
Yeah.
You know?
But if I tell you them niggas from such and such block ran down on Pookie, I'm ready to ride out.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm ready to end that.
Yeah.
I don't even know who it is yet. I don't know nothing. I'm ready to ride out and remove this person for killing the same dude that when he did it, I didn't even give a damn.
You know, so, you know.
That's scary.
And when we say, this is why, you know, when we say Black Lives Matter, you know, people want to talk about, well, what about black people killing black people? Well, what about white people killing white people?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, one is just more sensationalized than the other.
That's all.
Okay? That's all it is. All right? Because, you know, when you look at most white victims, their attacker was white.
Yeah.
When you look at black victims, their attacker is black.
Who's in your neighborhood?
Okay.
Like, I'm a criminal. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying, about to really go to hop on the bus and go drive, you know what I'm saying, 2 towns over to go victimize them people. I'm a criminal. If I'm down on money anyway, I'm going to rob the people around here.
And when I say,
that's just common sense,
and
man.
when I say Black Lives Matter, don't follow up with All Lives Matter. Because that's divisive.
That's divisive.
It's not unifying. Okay, because yes, all lives are valuable, but everyone is not fighting to stay alive based on the color of their skin.
Simple.
So you can't say all lives matter.
I always felt they should have said Black Lives Matter too. I always thought that one word too that could have been added to it would have like really kind of cornered them. It would have been a checkmate to where you can't even really say all lives matter, because I'm saying Black Lives Matter too, to highlight the fact that they've been neglected from all lives matter. But just another divisive technique that that's used. It's deep because you talking about police reform from 2011. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's a new idea now. That's correct. The fad. That's the, and if I get scared because a lot of times you have these movements that are created and then they're hijacked. They're hijacked by opportunists, capitalists, whatever. And
protest profiteers.
Never heard that one like that.
That's what
protest profiteers.
Protest profiteers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like I said, we not even like, bro, you do this. Like, and you're very humble with it because I'm over here I want you to talk about it. But it's like, I've noticed it's like pulling teeth with it. It's pulling teeth with you. But like, bro does this. Like, bro is out in the fields. He's marching. He's not just marching. The marching is like, it's almost symbolic of the action that he's actually doing. You see what I'm saying? He's on different boards. He's applying pressure to get results. You know what I'm saying? He's really fighting.
He really marching.
Yeah.
Like a soldier marching. Like back in the day, I'm just thinking of like soldiers marching.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like, oh, we all about to hop in Humvees or we about to go in the airplane. I'm talking like
grueling through the mud.
I'm talking American Revolution.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like boots on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one thing I appreciate by just sharing spaces with brothers. You know, like brothers, like your pedigree. You know what I'm saying?
An elder, for real. And I'm saying that because a lot of the times what we're getting, because like what this show is about, it's about grasping a hold of the narrative again. Mm-hmm. Like we can't rely on them to direct us, because that's what these screens do. They're directors. And we can't allow them to tell us who's the only people that got feet on the ground, what's being done. And because what happens is they'll get the masses, and the masses are just reposting, retweeting what they see on TV, things of that nature. And therefore the protest profiteers profit the most off of those scenarios.
Yeah. So look, I mean, I know, you just was like, listen, talk about it.
Talk about this.
So let me tell you, what I have experienced in almost a decade of fighting to get justice for my father.
Thank you.
Okay. So let me
real quick. This water we drinking, Itape water. It's from my bro. This is his brand. You know what I'm saying? He got his own water out. Solid brother. We gonna have him on the show. I just wanted, you know what I'm saying, because I'm pretty sure
I ain't even opened mine yet.
All right,
but
if you was to jump into it, these ain't just regular waters. But I wanted you to get into that, and when you know what I'm saying, get a little parched, just know what you drinking on. It's the finest. My man Sean, man, solid dudes, my bro. We gonna have him on the show too, to talk about the brand. But that's what it is, Itape. I was calling it E-tape at first. Definitely, my brother's from the motherland. And it was funny, he asked me, he was like, yo, what's the exact pronunciation? And as soon as he said it, I heard it I was like, yeah, it's fire though, like very good. But go ahead, break it open, bro.
So let me first say this. There's a difference between being part of a movement and following a movement. Because you put hashtag Breonna Taylor, hashtag Black Lives Matter, hashtag George Floyd, or Justice for George Floyd, that doesn't mean that you are part of a movement. That means you're following a movement. That means that it is trending and you want to be part of that trend. Okay,
let's go.
This is part of the problem that I have with a lot of people that are out here. You know, we say everybody's tough till it's time to do tough things. You know, and we have to stop hiding behind this virtue of love and patience to hide a vice of cowardice. Because we got a lot of people out there that's just straight cowards. And I have no problem saying that. You know, or you've been bought and paid for as black leadership, so you can't come out there and stand with families like mine or like yours in the event that there's some type of tragedy. Yeah. And these are the things that I've experienced. I've had clergy get upset with me because I simply said, I can count the amount of black clergy that has supported me on one hand and I still got fingers left over. So I said that, you know, and I didn't buckle after I said it.
Facts.
You know, and they're like, oh, he's attacking the clergy. No, I'm not attacking the clergy when I say that. I'm stating the fact.
Yeah, facts.
Okay?
That's it.
You know, I tell them, listen, a truth can be a lie told over and over again, and somebody believe it. I said, what I'm stating is a fact, and facts are concrete and measurable.
Yes.
Okay? So if that's not true or that's not a fact that I said, prove to me that it's not a fact. Give me more than
and
5
then take
people,
offense.
okay?
Yeah.
And then I'm man enough to say I was wrong, but I'm not. So, and I don't have the more notable activists or the more prominent activists out there in White Plains helping me. You know, I felt like I was fighting this fight alone, and I've asked them for help, and they still haven't come to White Plains to help me in almost 10 years. So I've had to put together a blueprint myself. I had to play chess. I had to figure out how I can move this, how I can do that, how can I get this person involved. And, you know, because of the support that I got from white people, this is why the movement is as strong as it is. You know, 85% of my support base is white. Out of the black people that support me, 90% are women, not men, women. You see, so these are the types of things and issues that I deal with on a day-to-day trying to get justice for my father. You have a city in White Plains that is saying right now, after the killing of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, that Black Lives Matter, but you're still fighting my family in court. You're still trying to destroy a black family. You're still putting a narrative out there that my father was this hatchet-wielding man trying to kill somebody when that wasn't the case. You were responding to a medical emergency. He said he was okay. Because you pulled into an area that's considered to have a high crime rate or low income area, you felt like you could deal with him or treat him any way you wanted to treat him. So for 90 minutes, it was a full scale attack on him. You know, so, and the end result was my father being killed. And I tell people, anything that I say is available through freedom of information. Don't believe me. Check it out. Look at the court transcripts and everything, and you'll see that everything that I'm telling you is factual. But this is the problem that we have, not just in White Plains, throughout this nation. Yeah. All right? People are not really standing up and speaking out the way that they're supposed to.
I want to say something real quick. Patterns, like I was talking about. So one of the things I noticed was what the media chooses to draw attention to. The stories that they choose to draw attention to be the ones that give you a lot of space to say, did they deserve it? Right? So even when the Breonna Taylor and the George Floyd came out, they didn't come out too far apart from one another. More was placed on George than on Breonna because George had the record. Excuse me. I say that because here we have a situation to where it's one of those, like a lot of times you might watch one. I don't know if y'all do it. I don't really watch none of the videos no more, but like, you know what I'm saying? I may read the story up. I'm scrolling through my phone and I'm judging the situation, and I'm being real with y'all. I'm judging the situation in my head, and then I'll respond out loud to myself. So I may look at something and I'll be like, and I'm reading it, and it be like one of those Karen videos. Like, oh, Karen, she's upset that, oh, this person hit her car and now she wants, and I'm reading it and I'm like, well, Karen ain't really too wrong on that one. Like I don't really think, you know what I'm saying, this is a Karen situation. Or it may be a situation where it's a police situation and I may look at the joint and I'll be like, you know, it shouldn't have resulted in him losing his life, but damn, it could have went a little different if, like, right, you get that little piece. This maybe when you by yourself and you give your private judgment of the situation. But then there'd be those cases where you be like, I call them oh, nah, that's fucked up. And I realize I'll apply that to blacks getting done like that, whites getting done like that. Like, it be those situations that's so clear, it's so humanely disrespectful that you just go, oh, nah, that's fucked up. Like, but those don't be like Tamir Rice, and they just showed that the officers with the Tamir Rice case just went free, right?
They were cleared.
They was cleared, right? Mm-hmm. When you read that story, oh, no, that's fucked up. Like, when you watch the video, that's fucked up. Like, I mean, the boy is in a park and they're pulling up on him. The cop doesn't even get out the car.
Correct.
It's just like this is Grand Theft Auto. Like, this is a fucking game. And he's shooting a little boy in the park by himself, posing no threat to nobody, even if it was a real gun. Y'all are just pulling up on the scene. No commands given. No, and you murder this 12-year-old kid. Right in Cleveland, Ohio. And it's like, that's not what gets the notification. You know what I'm saying? That's not what gets the whole movements to even be followed or nothing, because those are situations where the other people who be in these debates, they can't say, well, he's resisting there's no argument there. For a gentleman to be at home and his life alert, just the wording in that is too aggressive. You get what I'm saying? With your father's case, the wording is too aggressive. You telling me somebody hit the life alert button and lost their life? There's too much going on with that. That's too much. That charges the people of all colors. Because honestly, Life Alert ain't really marketed to black people. When I watch the Life Alert commercials, it's the old white lady sitting down on the floor. Mm-hmm. So now you have to really think of the politics behind this, because do we want old white women feeling like, God forbid, their button can go off and they lose their life? So there's a lot of politics that go into, you know what I'm saying? And this is just from looking at it just real quick, and just knowing how these niggas move over here. It's like, we can't really talk about this one. It's too, is this a possible lawsuit open for Life Alert? It's too much with a George Floyd. Oh, he had drugs in the system already. He held a gun to someone's belly. We got a lot of meat there that we can judge him on and take some type of views off of the system, off of the systematic oppression that's going on.
See, but this is why you have to learn, and these are some of the things that I learned, like, and this is why I assist other families when they're going through these things. Like, I'll tell them, first thing, stop talking. Don't talk. No matter what they ask you, you have nothing to say right now until you have legal representation.
Got you.
If you're not happy with that legal representation, get rid of that legal representation. Don't keep them, based on them, telling you, oh, we can do this and we can do that. If you don't feel comfortable, then don't deal with it. And see, these are some of the things that they don't look at. And creating or I'm not going to say creating, because then that sounds like you're making it up. But your narrative is important.
Facts.
Okay? Because remember, when my father got killed, what did the news say? Police shoot and kill hatchet-wielding man. That's what the initial report said. Police shoot and kill hatchet-wielding man. Then all of a sudden, he had a knife. Then he had a hatchet. Then he had both.
Yeah.
So now, if I say right now, police just shot and killed a hatchet-wielding man, you're thinking there's somebody out here in this street with a hatchet in his hand trying
and I
to
just
take
was
your head
saved,
off.
and I was just saved and protected. Thank God.
That's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Not a 68-year-old man with a heart condition was in his home, accidentally triggered his pendant that he wore around his neck, and the end result was him being killed. After he told you he was okay and he didn't need you. You see, so I keep telling people when it comes to situations like this, it's crimes against humanity. When you talk about the attack on black people and the black civilization and the black race. And I'm not saying that police officers don't have a difficult job.
Facts.
But your job is to diffuse a situation, not create one. That is what your job is.
Simple as that.
If I run a red light and you pull me over,
Should not
why are
result
you
in-
getting out the car and cursing at me? You know, why are you doing that? You see? Instead of, you know why I stopped you, sir? You ran the light. Okay. I'm not gonna sit there and argue with you because I know I did that. And people have to understand, like a lot of people say, well, if he just stayed calm, or why didn't he stay calm? Because trauma is real.
Trauma's real.
Trauma's real. All right? How about the fact that I get pulled over and I don't know if I'm going to die when I get pulled over?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I
You
don't
can't-
know that
you
right
can't-
now.
you can't. That shit is crazy
Am
to
I
me.
about to get killed? You know, it's...
How would you react if you did not know what the next 5 minutes will bring you?
You know?
If you would be here, what would your train of thinking be? How calm and how intelligent would you be able to maneuver? And this is what I'm saying, these are problems. Like I think about it, I'm like, yo, I may be with my grandmother. Do you know how, and this is just real because this is something that's been like I always say, like with a side of the weak go crazy, the weak go along, the strong go crazy. Because I'm noticing certain things are bothering me more now as a man than I never really noticed. If I'm riding with my grandmother and she's driving and I'm kicking it with her and somebody pulls up behind her, that instills fear into her. And here I am, I'm her grandson, I'm her strong grand, I'm sitting, and that shit doesn't matter. I can't call the fear that she's fearing right now because some niggas just pulled up behind her.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. That's a problem. Our women can't even really, because they don't even, like when I'm watching a lot of these videos, like I was watching a video, the dude is out at I don't know, he's like some food place or whatever. He's out eating with his lady and the kids.
And the kids.
And they're coming
I saw it.
Do y'all understand the psychological, the emotional, the spiritual effects that has on that man?
That's it. Yeah. And that's why I said trauma is real.
Trauma is real. And then in the midst of all of that, you want me to be like, and I'm watching them and there be times, and like I said, there's times where I'm like, oh man, you ain't have to do all of that. Yo, come on, bro. Just let them. I'll do that sometimes to myself. I'll never do it publicly. I'll never post it on no page like, yo, he should have. I'll never be that person. I'll never criticize mine in that moment. But sometimes, yeah, I'll be like, well, if he would have got out of it. But yeah, you know, we'd have just took. But I'm watching this joint and he's snapping on this dude. Like he's snapping on the cop. Like, not the like he's blacking on him. And I'm like, yo, this could go bad. But at the same time, this is his form of crying. He's crying right now without the tears.
Yeah.
He's crying right now. This is an emotional outburst that we fail to realize that men experience. But there's no liquid coming out. So the way we're expressing this feeling of emotion is with aggression.
I had it on my page. I posted that video on my page.
Word.
And you should have seen some of the comments that people put underneath. And I actually had to interject on one of them because somebody said, oh, yes, the officers were wrong, but he should have just stayed calm. He shouldn't have been yelling and screaming.
No.
And I said to this person, I said, well, explain to me why he needed to stay calm. Because you don't know what would happen. I said,
Exactly.
He didn't know whether or not that was going to be, his children was going to see him shot and killed right there in front of their eyes.
That's the point.
He did not know that, okay? He is probably 9 times out of 10, he has probably had some law enforcement contact. And he's
10
thinking
times
about
out of 10.
how that went wrong.
Whether it was directly with him, it was with an uncle, a brother, 10 times out of 10.
Correct.
He's had a negative experience.
So he's thinking about all of that. He's thinking about how he's talked to like 9 times out of 10, like he's not ish anyway.
Yep.
When law enforcement walk up to us and they talk to us. All right. And that's not saying all law enforcement.
Yeah, no.
But I can tell you more times than not, when I've been pulled over or just walking down the street and questioned, some of these officers have been very disrespectful. And then when I match their energy and give them that same type of energy back, now they want to lock me up. Or now it's, I can remember one time an officer said to me, say one more word. And I said, what's going to happen? He said, I'm going to take this stick and bust you upside your fucking head with it. That was his exact words to me.
Yeah. Oh, he don't know.
You know, and I just looked at him like, you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to just stand there and let anybody hurt me. And that's not condoning violence. That's not telling people to be violent. But I'm not going to stand around and let anybody just hurt me.
That's another thing I wanted to bring up too, because I think that's something that I peeped that our people, we as a culture, self-defense was part of the culture.
You have the right to defend yourself.
Well, yeah, but what I'm talking about is like self-defense in the form of like a martial arts. Like this was like growing up, we, Sifu, Master Sifu, right? And I've heard, you know what I'm saying, countless stories, you know what I'm saying, with pops. And my pops was a real one. And I remember he always used to say Sifu was the only person he'd have to go get his gun for. Like, you know what I'm saying? Self-defense, martial arts, and those trainings, that was a part of our culture.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? That's something else that I'm noticing has slipped away, from being part of the culture. Like, it's like even like Kung Fu, like, you know what I'm saying? My favorite movie of all time, number 1, is The Last Dragon. Number 1 favorite movie of all time. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you watch that movie, niggas was in Harlem and they run around with they geese on, and they, you know what I'm saying? You was like, yo, they really like, and they was really, brothers was really moving like that.
How is that your favorite movie?
Yo, that's my favorite. Listen, my favorite movie, number 1 all time, The Last Dragon. That's my favorite movie. You know what I'm saying?
I can't claim that as my favorite.
That's my number 1. Yo, I swear
I gotta go back to the Run Shaw movies.
Oh man, nah, see, I can't go that far.
I gotta go to the Run Shaw movies. 5 Deadly Venoms, Master Killer, 36 Chambers.
Chambers of Death. Yeah, facts.
I can't, and being a martial artist, I mean, if I said Last Dragon is my favorite movie, all my martial art brothers look at me like, what?
Yeah, no, that's not. All right, so
really?
All right, so quick explanation. Reason why I felt like it had everything. You had a Barry Gordon. Excuse me. Damn, why I'm messing his name up?
Barry Gordon.
Barry Gordon. Gordy. Barry Gordy.
Mm-hmm.
You got that soundtrack. You got the bars on there. You got Stevie Wonder. You got, the soundtrack's fire. Then you got my girl on that joint, Vanity, right? From Vanity 6, right? Mm-hmm. Then you got my man Tom Mack, who's killing it. You got the first like form of like 106 in Park that they got in the joint. Like the movie is like, it's like thick with culture, like, you know what I'm saying? Now, strictly Kung Fu, I wouldn't take it as my number 1 Kung Fu movie. I got some other stuff in that category. But favorite movies, and one thing I noticed too, my top 3 favorite movies of all time is funny as shit. It's from Harlem, because it's The Last Dragon, Harlem Nights, and then Paid in Full. Like those my top 3 favorite movies. And then Coming to America, like I might swap that out. But I want you to rap about your martial arts too, because like I said, I felt like we gotta start ingraining that back into the, you know what I'm saying, I know my little man's, he's definitely gonna be taking up something. Like I really want him to, you know what I mean, do a little bit of everything. Like, but I took up Taekwondo when I was younger, you know what I'm saying? And that was good for me.
So I think I was around maybe 16, 17 years old when I was first introduced to martial arts.
Okay.
I was in the streets running wild, getting in all types of nonsense. And my mother, who knew Grandmaster Watts at that time, went to him and said, "Can you please do something with my son?" And said, because if you don't, he'll probably be dead before he's 18, 19 years old. So he told me to come to the class. I was very, very cocky. And I said, "What time your class start?" He said 7 o'clock. I said, "I'll be there at 6:45. You know, talking my ish. You know. I get there. Never forget. He put me on the floor and let me spar this dude named Rudell. We call him Gunny. Rudell was a short dude. I'm looking at him like, I'm gonna run through this dude. He's nothing.
Nothing.
You know, he's nothing. You know, like Mayweather say, easy work.
Yeah, right.
So I thought. Okay. Next thing I know, boop, 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 I'm on the ground. I get back up, boop, 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 I'm back on the ground again. I get up again, boop, 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 I'm back on the ground again. I'm like, oh, this kung fu shit is real.
Yeah.
It's like that was what I thought in my head. And it was like, you know what? And I started training. So I've been training now maybe 34, 35 years. I am a Sifu in Wing Chun Kung Fu. I have my 4th degree black belt in Sanukus Ryu Jiu-Jitsu, my 5th in Grismatic Touch. My highest rank is 8th degree black belt or Hanshidan in Chunjitsu Ryu or Chun-San Ryu fighting system, which is an urban combat fighting system, which teaches you what to do like when we walk out this door and somebody attacks you.
Yeah, fine.
And as far as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I have never formally been trained. Tested. I've never been formally tested in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But they said that, you know, if I were to take my test right now, I probably would be like maybe a brown in that. But I recommend a hand art for everybody. I actually have another hoodie that I had on the other day. It said Jiu-Jitsu because you might run out of ammo. You know? So,
straight up.
So, really. You know, I've had conversations with people. Like, I had a gentleman that I know that's a friend of mine that's a police officer. And he was like, "Yeah, well, you know, I got my tools around my belt, so you know." And I said, "Listen, I could respect that, but if you ain't got it out, you ain't getting it out.
It ain't a threat. Facts.
You're not getting it out."
Yeah.
And I tried to explain to him, you know, that understanding, like this, don't always rely on that, you know.
Yeah.
I said because you may not be able to get it out. You might be dealing with somebody that's trained, that's knowledgeable. So it's a difference between running down on somebody that's just some regular dude that don't know nothing. But you know, that's like punching the dude in the face. He take his shirt off, and all of a sudden you see 2 gold gloves on a chain around his neck.
You like,
you know you about to be in a fight. All right, you know you about to be in a fight because he just wasn't just giving them things. He had to earn them gold gloves.
Yeah.
So you know that you about to be in a fight, and that's the point that I try to make with people. So now I will say with this COVID era and a lot of things is happening, I'm getting a lot of phone calls now from people saying they want to train.
Yeah.
Oh man, I want to train. Can I train privately with you? Can we do this? Can we do that? I did have a school open in Mount Vernon, but I closed my school when my father got killed. So I tried to get some of my high-ranking students to keep the school open, but they didn't want to keep it open without me there, and so we closed it. But we're looking for another place to open now. But I do teach privately right now. Like we'll work out in the parks and things like that. Okay. The mask on, the gloves, and all of that. Yeah. Because you gotta touch hands.
Facts.
This is the only way this is gonna work. And and really working people with basic stuff, basics. But I recommend martial arts for everybody or some type of discipline. Even if you like to box, then box. Yeah. But you got to do something because you never know. You might have to throw a couple of hands before you can get to the, to the thing. Before you can get to that,
create space.
You might have to boom, 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 and then what's up?
Yeah.
But it's too easy. It's too easy to pull. It's too easy to pull that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah. Yo, it's funny. I don't know if you remember that. Before we started the show, I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm bringing on. It should be a good way so niggas kind of understand the pedigree, the mentality I'm coming from. This shit ain't just grow from nothing. Like, it's titans that came before me that I draw from, and just how the spirit and mentality. But it was one night, it was back in college.
Hold on. What you talking about?
We not even gonna go into the whole joint. It was a college park night. I ain't even gonna go into it. Man. But
I want to tell a story about how I met you though.
Okay, we get that. All right, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that right. But I want to say this real quick. We all went out. It was a bunch of us, and there was an altercation that goes on, and I'm really speeding through. It was a wild night, but it's a brawl. It's a bunch of people fighting. At first I don't even recognize it's my peoples, because the first 2 people I see scrapping look like 2 white boys, but I forgot we had came with a white dude, my man white boy or whatever. So that was him. When I realized that, I'm like, oh, this is our peoples. Like, I'm over here dealing with something, jump into it, whatever. So while it's going on, there's a point in the fight, in the brawl, where there's a gentleman who goes, yo, he lifts up his shirt, yo, y'all ready to feel still? So in my head, this is out in college. So in my head, I got the mentality like that I'm kind of back up top dealing with my up top crew, because the mentality is just a little different. I'm in college, not saying my niggas back home don't got nothing to lose, but in college it's a different mentality. We niggas see guns, you do what you supposed to do, run. Mm-hmm. I'm not even in that zone at the time. Like, so when son say, yo, y'all trying to feel still, in my head I'm like, oh, he fucked up, because he ain't even take it off his hip. Somebody's going to jump on him, and we going to come up a strap today. That's not how that went. That's not how that went, Buzzy. Everybody skated. So it was 5 seconds in, I got the person I got. I'm working him. I'm on the floor, get him crazy, going down. All of a sudden, I start feeling the feet and the kicks. I'm like, y'all, I knew we ain't have all the numbers, but damn, like, how many niggas is in this? Like, and I'm wrapped up good though, so I'm not getting tore up. So when the situation is over, they gotta pull me off the nigga that I was wilding out on. Police got me on the curb. I look across the street. It's like the whole university that I came with is across the street. And they all watching me. I'm about to get locked up. Like, I just got jumped, but it was like I was the last aggressor. You know what I'm saying? And so when we talking, I'm like, yo, why nobody went and got the nigga with the strap? Niggas was looking at me like, what? you talking about? Get this a gun, nigga. Like, I was like, yeah, nah, that's right. I'm not even thinking like, but you right. Like, it's like you can't just rely on your hip. There's people out here that are programmed to go. I gotta get you now before you get to that. Like,
correct.
And you gotta know how to respond in that moment, like before you can get it out. Yeah, that's and I think that's, yo, they making us weaker. They making us weaker. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we expect our women to respect us. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I was watching a brother, I forget the rapper name, I think it was like G Herbo, and they was like, and he was with his girl and she had did something, moved her hands too quick and he had flinched, like, right? And they was saying that, it was like, oh yeah, you could tell he been through PTSD, this, that, and the third. Listen, niggas done shot around me, shot by, you know, I don't flinch when no female moves her hands around me. You know what I'm saying? That's not my initial reaction. Like, I done seen people killed and all of that. I don't flinch. That's from her smacking this motherfucker. You get what I'm saying? For little dumb stuff. Like, you know what I mean? That's just her way of showing affection, but that's where that comes from. That whole, he flinching and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But that's because she don't respect his hands. And I'm not saying she needs to be felt. She needs to feel him to respect him. But a woman kind of can read if like, don't think that they all fall for that whole you the toughest nigga in your hood shit. No, they don't. They'll be running with you for a second, like, yeah, baby, I know. Oh, he's so crazy, but they know you soft, right? A woman has a good meter on judging a man, right? Because she knows how to pay attention to him around other men. You know what I'm saying? So they softening us up, and we, you know what I'm saying? We gotta tighten that up. That's why I really want to bring that in, because that's something we're gonna talk about with schools and stuff. Because I got a brother up top in Mount Vernon, Homegrown Foundation, my bro Dilly. You know what I'm saying? They got a good shout out to them, man. They really doing some good work in the community, putting some stuff together. I'm gonna definitely want to link y'all in, because we need some schools, because we don't have nothing. The YMCA, I heard, was shut down, and a lot's going on, and it's like, who do we talk to? How do we fix these things? Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And I like people that's sitting on boards and stuff like that, like, because y'all know it more than, you know what I'm saying, than from I just see the problem. I don't really understand how to fix it, and, you know, that's where we gotta unite the both age groups, the people that's on the ground, and, you know what I'm saying, right. For real. Like, but we definitely gonna work on that. The Homegrown Foundation, they based in Mount Vernon, nonprofit organization. They just had a big Christmas drive recently, handing out the toys and stuff to all of the kids, man. It was loving, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, I definitely, before I even get too far, I wanted to, y'all just had a movie
about my father.
About your father was just done, man. You gotta, yo, bro. This dude's, like I say, he's one of the most humble people I know. Feel me? He'll let the whole damn show go by and not even speak about this movie that was made. It's in the Sunday official. Like, got my who they got playing your father again?
Frankie Faison.
Yeah, listen, like official, man. Like, yo,
that's
this nigga said the shit when Frankie Faison.
Commissioner Burrell from The Wire.
Yeah.
He was the super in Coming to America.
Facts. You may enter. Facts.
Yeah. So let me just say, you know, trying to get accountability in killing my father. Like I said, trying to figure out different ways to make sure that my father's name stays alive out there and it just doesn't die because the powers that be are trying to sweep it under the rug. I get an inbox on Facebook one day and someone says, I'm looking for the family of Kenneth Chamberlain Sr. I said, this is his son. How can I help you? Mm-hmm. He said to me, you know, I've been following your case. You know, I don't think you're getting the attention that you should be getting. I want to help you. I said, how you going to do that? I make movies. Okay. I'm like, really? So I heard that, but I'm like,
yeah,
all right, whatever. You know, that
So
was
does my mans. He make movies too.
yeah. You know,
And t-shirts if you need them. Facts. Facts.
You know, I make movies with my cell phone.
Yeah,
you know?
facts. Right?
So, but we're not gonna talk about the movies.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
Right? Yeah, we do this.
So, you know, but he said he wanted to have a conversation. We had a phone conversation. We talked. He sent me some movies that he's done so I could see him and see how professionally they were done. And he said, I want to do a movie about your dad. So I sent him all of the court information, everything that he needed, everything foiled stuff, freedom of information, all of that stuff, gave it to him. About a month later, he sends me a script. I read the script. I said, okay, that looks pretty accurate. Send it back. Told him, you know, go ahead, move forward. Next thing I know, he's telling me, we're doing casting, we're doing this, we're doing that. And he said, you know, I got some good news. I got somebody who agreed to play your father. And I said, who? And he said, Frankie Faison. You heard of him? I said, Frankie Faison? I said, Coming to America, Frankie Faison?
Yeah.
He said, yeah. I said, Commissioner Burrell from The Wire, Frankie Faison?
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, Banshee, Frankie Faison? You know?
Yeah, we get this is real. We really doing some real shit.
I'm like, what was the one that Marlon and them did? White Girls, whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. So he said yes, and we met and we had a conversation. They flew me down to Chicago. That's where they filmed at. And they said, you know, we got to keep it quiet because if people get wind of it, they may try to shut it down. So, you know, by the time they found out about it, movie was done.
Done. Facts.
Okay.
Facts.
It was done. We have won a total of maybe, no exaggeration, maybe 10 awards.
Yeah.
In the film festivals and things like that. Possibly, and actually Morgan Freeman and Revelations Entertainment has now come on as executive producers of the film. So they're helping us now push the film. I actually had a meeting with them the other day. So we're looking at maybe around October, November, the movie is going to come out, theatrical performance, you know, providing, you know, there's some type of normal again. People have said that Frankie Faison's role is Oscar worthy. He has never played a leading actor in any of his movies.
Right.
Anything he's ever been in, he's never been the leading role. He's always been a strong supporting actor.
Yeah.
So for him to take this, you know, was just great. You know, being on set with him was crazy because it was almost like my father's spirit dropped in him. You know, a couple of times I had to walk off the set because it was just so crazy, you know. And I will say this. The name of the movie is called The Killing of Kenneth Chamberlain. So you know he dies in the movie.
Yeah.
But the build-up to that point is so crazy. You know he's gonna die, but the build-up is so intense. And when we were at one of the film festivals, I think there was about maybe 250 people in the movie theater. When the movie was over, all you could hear was sniffles. That's all you heard. When they turned the house lights on, all you saw was people wiping their eyes. I never saw 250 people in a movie theater crying all at one time. Never saw that before in my life. You know, it's a powerful movie.
Yeah.
And
I can't wait for the
you know, and I'm excited. You have LaRoyce Hawkins that is supposed to be the voice of me inside there. You know, he plays on Chicago PD.
Okay.
Some people were saying, well, they need to do a movie now about you and all the work
fight,
that you're doing.
No,
and
really,
everything.
no. But that's what I'm saying. Like what you're doing, and I think that's what's so powerful about this show, because, there's a fine line to walk when you're trying to stay connected to the people, but then when you're trying to reach the people, right? It's a weird spacing, because you want to stay down to earth, but it's almost like the people you trying to reach ain't there. They're almost, it's like you want to be popular, but you want to stay true, and that's a very difficult line to tote. You see what I'm saying? It's a very difficult line to tote, but it's like what you're doing is so profound. It needs to be popularized. You get what I'm saying? It needs to be verified, and that's why we here, Verily Verified. You see what I'm saying?
Verily Verified.
You get what I mean? Like that's what like when I say we don't have no control over this show. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying this shit so truly, because the way how this one just happened, and every show that we're having is my favorite show. In of itself. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not saying each one I'm saying is better. Each one is special. It's like, it's scary because I feel like I'm having mad children right now. Like each one is a love that I'm having because of how powerful the people that I'm bringing are on. But it's like the attention, at times you say, damn, man, they need more attention. But nah, they need more weight. It's not numbers. They need more people. Like when you talk about the 85% of the people that's helping you, it got nothing to do with color.
No. See,
it's who they are.
Here's the thing. And I say this all the time. We're not outnumbered. We're out organized. That is what the problem is. We're out organized. And I have people tell me, and you
we gotta figure out a bomb. Like, you know how Flex got the bomb and certain shit just dropped? No, swear to, we gonna have to maneuver that in here. Like, yeah.
You talked about,
we're not outnumbered. We're out organized.
You talked about, like, and you're not the only person that's ever said this. I have people tell me this all the time. Yo, stop being so humble, bro. You know what I'm saying? You doing the work. We see what you're doing. Stop being so humble. But like I tell people, I don't do it for praise or accolades. That's not why I do it. I do it because my father was murdered. I do it because I know that if it was reversed, my father would be standing out there fighting for me. I do it because I know that even if it wasn't my father, it could have been my father.
Facts.
You see, and this is what I try to get people to understand. Kenneth Chamberlain Sr. could be any one of us.
Yeah. And
this is why it's so important that the community stands up and says this is wrong. Yeah. But the problem is that it's our own people a lot of times. And when I say that, I'm talking about our people who are in leadership positions. You know, they get upset when I say they bought and paid for. You know, but I mean, I can only call it how I see it.
They are.
You know, you sit, for instance, you have a council member that's black that sits on the common council in the city of White Plains that knows that my father was called a nigger before he was killed, and you're not outraged?
Yeah.
And you sit on the common council, you are an elected official in that city, a black elected official, a black man, and you're not outraged?
Yeah.
I don't get that. I don't understand that. You know,
but probably got BLM stickered on his car.
You know, so this is
drove out of White Plains and went downtown to go do the Eric Garner march and stuff like the popular. They'll stay in line. That's how I know you're bought and paid. Like, yo, look, here, I'm gonna talk, yo, Buzzy, you know how we do. Here, don't worry. This is 100. We keep shit 100 here. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know how you feel. Like, cause one of the things I take from Malcolm, and I try my hardest to stay in line with it. Like I it's him whipping me back into shape. Is when I watch his interviews and he'll be like, you know, you're not gonna get me to talk down on another black man, right? Mm-hmm. And then at the same time, he would hold a lot of those black men accountable. It's a difference between hating on somebody and holding them accountable. You get what I'm saying?
Correct.
There's a huge difference. Here, I don't care if you hate it. We got to be held accountable, and we have to hold accountable.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's a problem. Like, we allow that color to remove accountability selectively, though. And we done spoke about it before. Like, we'll look at look at attorney generals, and we'll look at Kamala, and then we'll look at the Kentucky dude, and you don't care about their records, but how the media has given each to us is how we've treated each one, right? And when this happens, it's a direct insult to our intelligence, because you're basically telling us, we'll tell you who to like, we'll tell you who not to like, we'll tell you what's important, we'll tell you what's not important. And these elected officials, these black ones, 9 out of 10, they were elected because they were black. Because that's how a lot of us get into office. A lot of us get into places, not saying we aren't qualified, not saying that we shouldn't be in those places. But for instance, when you take Obama, for example, at the top echelon of this voting system, he was put there by majority of voters who was voting just because of his color.
Correct.
So off the fact of that, whether it's a honorable fact, a smart fact, but off the fact of that, where is the honor to that blackness? And so, yeah, we should hold them. I do hold an Obama at a tougher, a more scrutinized position than a Trump, or than a Biden, or than a Bernie Sanders, or that anybody else that does not share my plight. I have to hold him more accountable, at the same time hold them all accountable. And I can see how disheartening it would be to be in your position and you watching somebody who you might have voted for. You know what I'm saying? Somebody you might have put in this position.
And there are people who I voted for where I look now and I say, I'm sorry that I voted for you.
Yeah.
You know? So, my whole thing is you use the word accountability. And that's what I say. I just want you to be held accountable. Hold me accountable the same exact way. If you see me doing something that I shouldn't be doing, call me on it. Hold me accountable. And that's so, when I confront them, confrontation is not a slap on the wrist. That's not what confrontation is. Confrontation is pointing out a specific pattern of behavior, something that you see that is consistent, that could be good, could be bad. But in this particular case, it's bad. The fact that we have black leaders in positions where they can really affect positive change and they do nothing is bad.
You know why? You know why I think a lot of that happens a lot of the time? Some of the time. Most of the time when we watching these, a lot of our black officials and some, I hate putting blankets on stuff. I'm trying to, but certain ones, let's just use that word, right? What's happening is they're in a position. The position that they're in isn't stable. They're trying to move up. This is this concept of getting through the door and opening up the door for the ones behind you, right? So what they're doing is they're being careful not to give off this unapologetic, because we know what runs this country. Racism.
Correct.
Whether we want to say it out loud, white supremacy is what runs this country. So if I'm planning on moving up in a world that's ran, or in a system that's ran by white supremacy, it does not behoove me to bother them on my way up. It's just not smart, right? Especially in areas that's heavily concentrated with white supremacists, right? So now when we're looking at Senate, governor, whatever these positions are, they're never really at the pinnacle of what they're trying to get to. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if it's an alderman out here. His goal is to be the next Obama, right? So he's looking at every step. And he's like, damn, I can't be too out of the norm, because that puts a target on me. I look like I'm troublesome. I look like I may actually change some shit for niggas, and therefore I can't be trusted. So now you're torn between but when does it stop? When does this whole let me not get too comfortable, you know what I'm saying? It never stops. And what made me think about that was, and it's so funny you said that, because I was just thinking about this the other day. And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and we was talking about like a doctor. I'm like, well, why wouldn't the doctors, we was talking about COVID or whatever, and why wouldn't the doctors come out and say this? And and this doctor went and got the vaccine or whatever, and I'm not gonna get too crazy into that or whatever. But what I said was, listen, that nigga put 10 years into the system. That was after college. You get what I'm saying? This nigga done put so much effort, hours and hours of studying, of late night testing and reports and dissertations. And you think they're willing to throw that whole shit away for a George Floyd? For a Breonna Taylor? Do you know what type of resolve that takes? Do you know what type of character that takes for somebody to go through these systems?
And you know what? I'm going to cut you short right there. Because you mentioned Malcolm and trying to live by, like his kind of code. When people say that, and I've had similar conversations.
Oh wait, I don't condone what I was describing.
No. I'm not saying you condone it.
Okay.
I'm saying that when I've had conversations with people like that, I said to them, do you think that Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were different? I said,
see where you going.
I said they weren't. I said, they died. Both of them died when they began to talk about the unification of black people and having your own property, having your own land, buying black. I said, Dr. King said, I'm not fearing any man or anything because I've been to the mountaintop and my eyes have seen the coming of the Lord. Malcolm X said, I live like a man who's died already.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell people that means that in order to truly live, there has to be a cause greater than yourself.
Greater than your life.
That you are willing to die for. So I would rather be a one-term elected official than to be a multi-termed hypocrite.
Facts.
Standing out there, selling dreams.
Let's go.
Making people believe that I'm for all the people when I'm not. They don't stand on these front lines right now and yell Black Lives Matter because they necessarily believe it.
No.
They do it because it's politically advantageous. They want your vote. So now they want to run on that platform.
Simple.
You said something that stuck with me. That's going to stick with me for a minute. You said when you first introduced yourself, to some I'm a hero and to others I'm a troublemaker. And the problem I have with a lot of people in positions of power that really can affect change is they try to eliminate the troublemaker. They don't want to be a troublemaker to nobody.
Yeah.
I wanna be the hero of my community without causing trouble to the establishment.
Yeah.
And see, you got to remember what I do.
Yeah.
Like I tell, I'm not trying to hate on no black man or black woman. I want to make you feel uncomfortable. Because if I make you feel uncomfortable,
you'll change.
You're going to do something. Anytime we've ever done something, we felt uncomfortable in our position where we was at. And we said, oh, nah, I can't be here no more.
Yeah.
I got to get up. I got to do something. You ain't going to get it on your back. All right? Yeah. Get up and get it. You see, so
that's and it's powerful because when I start making trouble for the people who have also caused me to have to become a hero for my people, and I'm fighting for your people, and me fighting your people for your people is bringing you trouble. Now you have to question your position. Like, this man is fighting for my grandfather, my father, my sons, my daughters, my mothers, my grandmothers, but it's hurting me. How? How can you even put yourself in that position?
They can't stand to see me come to certain events. When I walk in that door and they see me, I know what they thinking. Oh, here come this nigga. I know that's what they thinking.
It's a badge of honor. It's a badge of honor. You shouldn't feel comfortable in my presence. You shouldn't feel comfortable in my presence.
Now, what is he gonna say that's gonna upset the good white folks in here that, believe that everything is fine?
You know what? Can I pause that real quick? It's funny when you was just saying that, right? You was like, oh, here he comes. most people would probably think that you were referring to the white establishment. Nah, you talking about the black people that done got comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
That's in position of power. Like, damn, he going. And you know what's so bad? I've noticed that discomfort when I'm in the presence of other people, of other races and stuff, and then with some of my own. And the second you mention, just go around, go in an environment. For real, this is for, like, just for shits and giggles. Just go in an environment and it's black people, white people, all different, and just say loud and white supremacy. You could be with your friends. Watch the discomfort some will get, right? With you even alluding to the concept. Like, it makes some uncomfortable because they feel like, yo, I done made it this far by fake ignoring this shit. My buddies that we done went to class with and stuff like that, you know, shit comes up on the TV. We just, next channel, we don't even talk about this stuff. Went through all med search, all of this stuff. I went through all of this schooling and never really had to even dive into these things. You get what I'm saying? Just to keep you comfortable. But you have to, like you said about that Stockholm syndrome. I'm here suffering, but still put my comfort on the back burner. I put truth on a back burner. I put reality on a back burner for my oppressor's comfort. That's terrible. That's a terrible position to be in mentally.
I tell people, you know who taught me about white privilege? And they said, who? I said, a white woman. She taught me about white privilege. She taught me to understand what white privilege was. You know, and see, these are the things that a lot of people don't understand. And yes, my biggest kickback sometimes is from our own people. He's rocking the boat. He's causing problems, you know. And this is why I say, especially in White Plains, my biggest support is white people. White people, progressive white people who understand that the rule of law doesn't apply. And the rule of law says its governments, its agents, and officials are to be held to the same set of rules that enables a fair and functioning society. We don't see that. It does not exist.
Because there's too many loopholes.
You know, we talk about a pandemic, you know, well, I tell people the killing of black people is a pandemic. Okay? I tell people what you witness when you see that, and I said it earlier, is crimes against humanity. A widespread or systematic attack on a civilian or identifiable part of a civilian population. We are 2.5 times more likely to be killed. Hands up, hands down, suit on, hoodie on, whatever. Matter. It doesn't matter. Color of our skin makes us the threat, and we will be taken and treated like that.
Simple as that.
So this is what the issue is. So until we come together and stand up and say, you know, and not pick and choose these things. Like, don't just, like, here's a problem that I have. And I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about this. He said, I noticed none of these big time activists ever come to White Plains to help you, bro. I'm like, yeah. I said, well, I used to get upset about that. I said, now I'm thankful for the people who do come. Okay? I said, so I don't worry about that no more. Okay? I said, I'm not worried about it now. I said, but I will say this. I said, but it used to bother me that they could travel hundreds of miles away to go to another state to yell justice for somebody. But you can't drive 45 minutes up to Deegan to come hold me down.
Yeah,
okay.
But that's
45 minutes.
That's us.
That's it. 45
that
minutes.
mentality, that spirit. That's what we do. We'll send relief help all across to different countries, like they talk about in the stimulus package. And we got Flint, Michigan water still fucked up.
You know, and this is the problem that I have.
That spirit.
You know, I've had people say to me, "Oh, he think he's something because he on TV." Huh? What kind of nonsense is that?
Yeah.
I don't want to be on television. I'm on television talking about an injustice that happened.
To you. Yeah.
That's what I'm on television talking about. And I'm on television not just talking about it, but I'm talking about mechanisms that we can put in place so you're not on television talking about what happened to your loved one. Yeah. You see? But unfortunately,
they don't realize that the fight
when it's
isn't
in your
yours
backyard,
no more. It's theirs.
You know, then you have a problem with it.
Yeah, I think that's the problem that we miss with real revolutionaries. Excuse me. Most of the time they're not even fighting for their own. Like
It's
when
bigger than my father.
like when Malcolm made that statement, people fail to put it in context what's happening at this moment. Malcolm is outside in the middle of the snow. His house is on fire. Right? This is when he's talking about I don't have no fears. I've been living like a dead man. Like I don't have no fears, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing that always hit me hardest about that specific interview was when he talks about Betty. And he's like, I had a speech set up. And Betty was the one that told me that I better be there. She told me I gotta go. Now, mind you, put this all in play, right? So you have a man who's being threatened. He's trying to be stopped from speaking. They're threatening him to the point where they're burning down his house with his kids inside. The mother of this household, right? The mother is telling him, don't let them break you. You got to go do this, right? So at this moment, he's not going out there speaking to unlock the minds of his family. He's not going out there to go and save his family. Mm-hmm. They're saved already because they get it. He's risking these same people's lives and his own to come out and save your family. That's real revolutionary. Real revolutionary, you have to separate yourself from the shit, because when you start talking about, I've seen that mountaintop that Martin was talking about, knowing he'll never get there. It's the same way Moses seen Canaan land before entering in. Now imagine you walking around 40 years talking about this land of milk and honey, and you ain't never even gonna get to go there. Mm-hmm. But yet you still keep the beat going. You still got the people going because it's never been about you getting there. It was never about you getting there. It's about you getting the people there. Because at the end of the day, it can't be for you, because the children is the future. So whatever that you're doing now has to be something that's set in place for them to take advantage of. Correct. Not for you to be free for now, for the next 5-10 years, and then the shit. So anything that we're working on now, and what my man Luck said, anything we're after ain't in the hereafter. It's right now. You get what I'm saying? It's right now for that future. Mm-hmm. That's what real revolution is. So they're gonna pick at they gotta pick at everything you're doing, but it's gonna be people like your age. It's gonna be, see, the youth, we gotta see you, because we ain't gonna pick at that, because we realize you one of the only people that's really fighting.
Yeah, I mean,
the adults, they looking at you like you're making them look like they ain't doing shit.
Well, remember when my father got killed, a lot of the youth that you see on the front lines right now was 9 years old, 9-10 years old. Now they're 19, 18,
yeah.
They're 20, and they see the injustice now. So,
and they compute it.
Yep. So it is the youth right now that is the force in these movements right now. When you talk about police reform, when you talk about Black Lives Mattering, this is what you see. It is the youth. Okay. Now the only difference is like I tell people, look, I sit there and have a conversation with the adults, and we can over intellectualize, and we can do all of that.
Young niggas want to get it in.
All right. We can say something so profound and prophetic that the adults are sitting there like, wow.
That's deep.
You know. When I'm talking to the youth, it's like, yo, what's good? You know the vibes. This is the type of time we on right now. Let's get it. You know, and they understand that. And then we move accordingly. All right. I've been out there and I've been addressing youth, and people have been coming by and was saying disrespectful things. And the youth turn and they get ready to move on the situation. But I stop them. I'm like, don't do that. He's not a threat.
Yeah.
He's not a threat. But he wants you to react right now.
Facts. He wants you to be a reactionary.
I said, and then not only that, once you do that, then it's Kenneth Chamberlain Jr. incited these youth to go out here and commit violent acts, and a person was injured. Nah, not gonna happen. All right. So this is some of the things that we have to understand. Like, you have to be able to communicate with the generation for them to understand. I don't stand in front of the youth like this with my arms crossed. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Because this is like, it's standoffish, one. All right. It's saying I'm more important than you are.
Yeah.
You know, so it's how are you, young man? How are you, young lady? You know? And they're like, oh, hey, Mr. Chamberlain. I'm like, nah, call me Kenneth. Mr. Chamberlain is my father. Let's have a real conversation. Don't feel like whatever you want to talk about, you can't talk about to me because you think I don't understand. Nope.
Yeah.
You know, and like I tell people, I never asked to be anybody's leader. Never asked that. But I'll lead no matter what I've done. You know, no matter where I've been in life, I never asked for the leadership role.
Facts.
It was, you know what?
Yeah.
We need you to do that. You know? Or you can get them motivated, or you can get them to move, or you can get them to understand. You know? Being with these families that have loved ones that are impacted by police violence that was killed. It's hard talking to them families. You know, when I have a mother of a son that was murdered by police call me on the phone, and for 15, 20 minutes straight, she's just crying on the phone. And I'm listening to her. I got my headphones in, I'm listening. She's crying. When she finished, then I have the conversation with her because I know what she's feeling. You know, and I'm not trying to talk down to her. She doesn't understand certain things about this legal process. I'm trying to help her navigate through that. It's a lot. So you're looking for the community to hold you down.
Yeah.
And they don't. They just don't. We want you to. We want to look up and see the whole community standing with us. Not just because it's the current thing that's trending right now, but because you really believe in the cause. Yeah. That you really believe that at any given time, it could be your loved one that we standing out here saying an injustice was done to. You know, Don't let it come into your backyard before you feel like you need to do something. Like I tell people, before my father was killed, I was already giving back. It's not something that I just started doing once my father got killed. I was part of Westchester Martin Luther King Institute for Nonviolence. I would speak to the youth, you know, we would talk to them about, what to do if you stop by law enforcement. Now my conversations is, how do you survive a law enforcement encounter? How do you survive it? How do you survive it? I've done scenarios with youth where I'll never forget. We did this scenario where I pretended to be a very aggressive police officer with a young man, and he ended up crying. And we had to stop the whole role-playing thing. And I had to pull him to the side and said, "You okay?" And he said, "That happened to me before." And all I could do was hug him after that and say, "Well, it's okay. I just want you guys to understand how to handle situations like that because you may encounter it again, Yeah. And I want you to know how to handle it."
Do you know how it be times I look at my son and I'm like, I remember growing up, you watch movies and shit, and that's not really a black thing, birds and the bees. You better not be up there fucking. Leave them doors open. That's how, that's how we get the birds and the bees. But I remember just seeing, like, damn, it really be hard for people to talk to their kids about birds, you know what I'm saying? But now I'm looking at them like, yo, I'm going to have to skip the birds and the bees. I'm going to have a conversation with my son like that man had with his son. Mm-hmm. But the worst part about it is there ain't shit that I could tell him that could bring him peace. There's nothing and I think that's what hit me so hard from that video we was talking about a while ago. He said, Dad, that was like the first, he said, Dad, I'm doing what you told me to do. I rolled up the window. Like, it's so much happening in that one clip. You know what I'm saying? And as a man, like, you know what I'm saying? As a parent, like, to hear that, like, we talk about George Floyd yelling out to his mother. She had to see that afterwards. This man is watching his son and not comparing, but we have to understand how powerful these encounters are. And then you take that and then you put it on TV. And then, like you said, it's like the tar and the feathering of that masculine Negro. Now I gotta watch that. And I have to see that. And I'm looking at people that I thought, police was a little more delicate with them. And this is what you're doing with them. It's something that has to change. It's not something that we're supposed to get used to. It's not, and that's the problem. We're so focused on getting comfortable with this situation. There's more effort, like you said, when you're uncomfortable, you're forced to change it. But when you're seeing black men get killed, whether it's on your TV shows, when you keep hearing about black men getting killed on your radios, when you're watching it on your timeline, when you're watching, when you can't even really see strong men no more, everybody's feminine, everybody's this, you see what I'm saying? When you don't even have nothing to draw from, it numbs it. So now when the killings start to happen, it's like you're more inclined to look for the excuse of why it happened. You're more inclined to understand from the criminal's side. You're more inclined to turn the victim into the criminal. These are the things that you're more comfortable with doing from the numbing down of seeing this happen constantly, every day.
So we talk about, I say, we reduce, prevent, and eliminate the situation altogether.
Okay.
How do you do that?
That's what I was getting to.
The only way that happens is through legislative change. That means, because what I've seen by sitting on a task force where we talk about police reform and reinventing task force, trying to reimagine what a police department can look like, where there's equal justice under the law, what I'm finding is that any suggestions and recommendations that we put forth, there's a law that blocks it from actually being initiated. So what is going to have to happen is that we are going to have to get on our legislators who help create these laws, and we have to say that you have to do this, you have to repeal that, you have to get rid of this, you have to put this in place.
And then we can move
and that's
with this
the
reform.
only way that there's going to be real reform. Other than that, you are just giving recommendations that they'll look at and flick to the side and be like, hey, we did it. We put together the task force. We did an analysis and this is what we came up with. But how are you really forcing the change? And outside of that, local laws need to change, state laws need to change, national laws need to change. But unfortunately, my biggest thing is like, when will we see that happen? The right black person hasn't been killed yet. That's what the problem is. Okay? You gotta remember, nobody knew who George Floyd was till he got killed. No one knew who Kenneth Chamberlain Sr. was until he got killed. They were somebody to us, but nobody to the rest of the world. But if you get a high-profile black person, God forbid, and they become a victim of police brutality, or better yet, an extrajudicial killing or summary execution of that individual, then,
like, if Smollett was really, God forbid, if they would have took him out, that would have,
then you're gonna see something really happen. But there has to be legislative change. Laws have to change. You People talk about, I mean, why did it have to take so long for them to repeal 50A in New York? You know, why did it have to take so long for that to happen?
50A.
50A would protect police officers' records. So I couldn't look at your record and see that you had a history.
Pattern. Whoa.
You know, so they finally repeal that.
Okay.
You know, you call for independent prosecutor in questionable police shootings or when someone dies at the hands of law enforcement. You now have the New York State Attorney General, Letitia James, who is supposed to investigate these cases. I don't know how she's investigating him. I voted for her.
Yeah.
But I have zero confidence in her. You know, she has not shown me to this point that she is effective in doing her job.
Yeah.
I mean, she goes after Trump, you know.
Oh, okay.
But like I said, you know, if you went after police officers for extrajudicial killings and summary executions as diligently as you go after Trump, I have no problem with you. Because I'd be like, this woman is working. All right? So we have a new district attorney now in Westchester County. Her name is Mimi Rocha. Okay, she is the DA-elect. She is coming in next year. I'm hoping when she comes in that we'll see some real change.
Gotcha.
I mean, not only that, I'm asking for a meeting immediately.
Yeah.
Because I need you to take a second look at my father's case. Because I feel like it wasn't looked at the first time fairly. Okay? I don't believe that they really put charges on the table with the grand jury. And this is why they came back with no true bill. So I'm gonna be asking that she take a second look.
Gotcha.
So these are the things that you gotta look at. But if you really wanna reduce, prevent, and eliminate a problem, it's going to take legislative change. It's not going to take. It's like you gotta understand this. You had policy about the chokehold. That was a policy that you were no longer supposed to do that. And police are still doing it. Yeah. Now there's a law that says you can't do it. You see, now there's a law. But why did it have to take that? Why did it have to take Governor Cuomo to sign bills, or the most aggressive, as he put it, police reform bill in the nation for people to do something? And this is why I'm saying in New York right now, what I'm seeing is that, yeah, you have all these elected officials yelling Black Lives Matter and all of this stuff, but they're only doing it because it's the politically correct thing to do right now, and they want your vote. And if they have not learned anything else in 2020, they learn what the power of the vote can do. So the same way that you're being voted in, we'll vote your ass right back out. And we'll put somebody else there. And if they don't do what they're supposed to do, we'll vote their ass out too. You know, and this is what people have to understand, you know.
Question. How could people help you? People that's watching this show, what could they do to assist in your fight, your mission, your goals, and obtaining justice for Kenneth Chamberlain Sr.? You
know, what I do right now is, you know, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, I post it on social media.
Okay. You're going to have his name and everything under the joint, right?
I put all of that on Facebook for people to see. And I always just ask, if you see me post something, share it. Because when you share it, then your base is going to see.
It's that simple.
They share it, their base is going to see. You know?
So funny, I've been talking about
because mainstream media is not going to talk about Kenneth Chamberlain Jr. unless I'm out there doing some violent act. Fact. Now, if I was out there going, justice for Kenneth Chamberlain Sr. and destroying property, oh yeah, the news would be there. They'd be talking to me every day. You know, but nah, that's not what I'm doing.
Facts.
I'm sitting down. I'm part of task force. I'm sitting on boards. I'm working to affect positive change. You know, I'm talking about mechanisms that we can put in place. You know, I'm speaking to these elected officials. He's just doing regular stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so they're not really going to talk about that.
Yeah, I think that we need to, there's a lot of people out there that want to help.
You know, and then I got my Instagram page as well, you know.
What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is BHJ_North K.
Okay.
You know, I try to keep that one just to be my little personal one, but it seemed like that's becoming more just like my Facebook page. I say my Facebook page is no longer mine; it's the people's page. Yeah. You know, so I don't even really post too much
personal
stuff on my Facebook page. Like, you might look at my Instagram page and be like, "Oh, I did this, I did that." You know, they're two separate pages now. You know, but I mean, listen. The only way that, like I said, we're gonna see any real change is that, you know, people gotta understand your fight is my fight. Mm-hmm. You know, I keep telling people, you know, when you look at the three major religions, you look at Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Okay, they all say the same thing.
Same book.
They all say the same thing.
Abraham and all three.
Okay, and I keep telling people, what's the main name that you see in all three books? And everybody want to say Jesus. I said, no, Abraham. Mm-hmm. Abraham is the name. I said, but you hear in Judaism, you hear, what is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor.
Facts.
Okay. In Islam, you hear, none of you truly believes until you want for your brother and sister that which you want for yourself. In Christianity, do unto others as you would have them.
Simple.
Do unto you. Same thing.
It's like I said, it's so scary what's happening because, excuse me, on my way here, I'm just like going to, sometimes I be just talking to myself, man, because I just be like, and that subject kind of came up because I'm like, when you look at that Bible, and we ain't gonna get all into that, but people like, because I was thinking about the Egyptian aspect and Moses, and I was like, the thought came across my mind. I'm like, yo, like Moses was really like the first spook by the door, like, cause he was in Pharaoh's house, like he was the spook that didn't even realize he was the spook. So when you come out of there and you start to see the similarities between the 10 Commandments and then the Book of the Dead, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I have not killed and I have not stolen. And it's like, you'll have people that'll take that information and be like, oh, this isn't real because this comes from, listen, my God has the power of reaching all people. If you think that your people is the only people that's supposed to see salvation, you're crazy. You think God didn't save Egyptians the same way he saved Israelites and saved everybody else? You see what I'm saying? You think that truth wouldn't have permeated through every other culture? We so focused on trying to find ways to separate, to find the differences in each other, not realizing that the core of what we believe really links us together as a family.
Instead of looking at the similarities, I tell people that.
Yeah, man. Like, it's funny. I swear to God, before I was pulling up, like, that was really on my heart. Because I'm just like, yo, like, how do people feel like that's an excuse or that's a evidence that God isn't real because you're seeing? Listen, I don't care if you're talking about Jesus and that solstice. I don't care if you're talking about a Santa Claus, and you breaking down the winter solstice and the spring. Listen, at the end of the day, if it's talking about the sun, the stunt. In my belief, the sun isn't acting by nature. It's acting off of obedience because there's a God that controls it. So regardless of how you spinning this stuff, you get what I'm saying? It's still a one system. It's still a one love, right? And everything that's happening now is being designed to separate that, to have us not looking at that. And it's getting so real now, it's down to the physical side of it, where they don't even want us touching, stay 6 feet apart, and it's, you know, it's getting dangerous, man. But
I tell people, there's a song KRS-One did back in the day called "Why Is That." That was the name of the song. I always tell people, listen to that song. I'm like, you want a quick lesson on the Bible? Listen to that song, "Why Is That" by KRS-One. That's all you gotta do.
Got you.
He breaks it down in that song.
Why is that?
Why is that? You know.
Nah, that's
when we get off this air, we could play it real quick.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, yeah. but you know, I like the vibe of this show. Like you said, it's like you just kind of going wherever the conversation take you. You know what I'm saying? That's like real men conversations.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? Because it's like we could be talking about one thing, and all of a sudden we in another conversation, and then you in another conversation. But I mean, this is how you drop jewels.
Facts.
You know, this is how you drop them.
That we can't. That's why I try not to. Even I said I'm gonna send you some questions and stuff. I'm like, it was funny because I didn't send the questions because of the same like you should have said before we started up. You was like, niggas, people be like, yo, are any questions off limits? Like if it's a question, I'll tell you in the middle of your show. Nah, nigga, I'm not like real man shit. And that's why I was like, when I had told you, I said, yo, I'm gonna send you some questions over and stuff. But I was just like, first, this is fam, and second of all, like if it's off the lip, you know what I mean? Like, but we go with the vibes here, man. And I really appreciate you being here. You know what I'm saying? But more importantly, I appreciate what you're doing outside of here. Cause like, I hear a lot how Malcolm wasn't appreciated as much as he was until afterwards. Martin didn't get the streets until afterwards. And
well, listen, he only had
5-6 years.
I forgot what percentage. I used to know it off the top of my head of the percentage of the black clergy that was supporting Dr. Martin Luther King at that time. It was a very low number.
Yeah.
Okay. But they all now talk about Dr. King.
Yeah, facts.
Okay. But they considered him a radical back then.
That's why I Letter to a Birmingham Jail is still like my favorite writing in the world. Because it's really a diss record.
You know. So you have what's
this called?
Letter from a Birmingham Jail, where he addresses the clergy from jail.
Letters of a Birmingham.
Letter from a Birmingham jail. He wrote a letter while he was
and that's where he talks about he was saying how he was like he found out, basically he was saying how the Democrat was worse than the Dix. He said it was worse than the KKK and Klansmen. Yeah, that's how he starts it out. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That is a powerful letter. Yeah, he goes in. He goes in on everybody. He's like Tupac. I mean, he just came home.
There was also a letter that a lot of people don't know about, where Dr. King went to St. Augustine, Florida, because a group of segregationists was in a pool and this guy threw acid in the pool and tried to burn them with the acid and everything. And Dr. King went down there. And when he went down there, a group of rabbis came to help him. And these rabbis all got arrested for helping Dr. King. And what they said was, they were like, well, why did you come? And the rabbi said, we came because we could not silently stand by our brother's blood, for we have done that far too many times before. But the powerful piece in all of that, in that statement, was when they said that second only to silence, the greatest danger to man is loss in faith of man's capacity to act. That was the powerful piece. And that is the problem that I try to get people to understand.
Not acting.
You gotta do something. You know, you gotta do something. You know,
that's real.
You want
say that part again? Say that one again. That line, that powerful piece.
Second only to silence. The greatest danger to man is loss in faith of man's capacity to act.
You want to hear it again? I do. I ain't gonna lie.
It's the truth though. You know. And I can remember I spoke at a synagogue, and I'm going to show you how crazy it is. I spoke at a synagogue, and I opened with that and talked about that because I was trying to talk about the unification that's coming together.
Yeah.
And when I finished, they introduced me to one of the rabbis that was at the jail in St. Augustine, Florida. And he just looked at me and he smiled. You know, and I was like, wow, you know, because I never really know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
You know,
it's gotta be organic.
I just say whatever drops in my spirit at that time is what I speak to. I just, you know, just ask that whatever it is, it will motivate, it will push people.
Be true.
Like I say, I no longer ask for a lighter load. I ask for a bigger back and broader shoulders. You see, so it's all about perspective. See, so
that's yo, Buzzy, you already know we gotta stay closer. I wanna, you know, definitely, you know, you got my You got my hands, my feet, whatever I could put towards what you got going on. You know what I mean? I repost stuff and stuff like that. I know that's what you say, but to me, that's not enough. You know what I'm saying? I want to, you know what I mean? Whatever you need from me, you know what I'm saying? If I'm able to give it, you know.
Listen, I'm trying to put together a plan right now because, like I said, we're going on 10 years now and this city is still fighting me. So I'm trying to formulate another plan of attack. The only difference is it's like I made it very clear to the city of White Plains right now, no more playing defense.
Yeah.
I'm on the offense now. I got the ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Facts.
So, you know,
Facts.
that is the mindset that I have now. You know, is that I'm on offense now. I play defense all this time.
Yeah.
You know, I let you say and do all that you wanted. You know, I've kept a level of decorum even when you were being so disrespectful that no one would have blamed me had I flipped on you.
Yeah.
But I understood that as a black man who you already consider angry, you know, it's counterproductive to what I'm trying to do. Yeah. So I have to be very measured in everything that I do and everything that I say, you know, because if I don't, you know, see how they act?
Yeah. It does more damage to the move
See how the niggas act? Yeah. You know, that's what you get. You know, but when I'm sitting there at that table and I'm speaking just as eloquently to the issues as you are, point, counterpoint, you know, or fact, alternative fact, you know, and now it's like, oh, wow, he knows his stuff. You know, I never thought that I would be on panels where people would say he is an expert in the area of police reform. Yeah. You know, I never thought that. You know, if you would have told me 9 years ago, almost 10 years ago, I would be the face of a movement, I'd be like, me? Nah. Yeah. You know, but, you know, there's your plans and then there's God's plans.
Facts.
You know, so
somebody
plan was made before you.
You know, so
somebody real special. They told me that. Not told me specifically, but he said what they pray for. They say they pray His Lord force and shape me to do Thy will. And I when I heard that, I was like, yeah, I like that because I'm not really big on praying for things for myself. I'll be straight. Like God got me. I always do. Like. Me and that entity, we like this, you know what I'm saying? And I would always be uncomfortable with praying because it's like I don't be just wanting to be BSing while I'm in this mode, and I'm not just trying to be asking for something like I'm in a store and somebody say you got an unlimited amount of money to spend in here. Or whoa, can I get this? So when I remember when I heard him say that, I was like, I said, wow. I said, yeah, that's right up my alley, Lord. Yeah, please just force and shape me to do what I will. That's it when I'm being a knucklehead, when I'm not paying attention to the signs, when I'm, you know what I'm saying? And I realized in praying for that, karma whips on me a lot harder. You know what I'm saying? Because it's forcing me. It's, you know, and so a lot of times I may like make plans to do stuff. And I'm big on saying a lot of stuff, and I'm trying to find a balance with that. But a lot of times I speak on what I may want to do, not necessarily what's in the plans for me to do. And then I'm always going to go with the flow of things. Even when I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to always move with the flow of shit. Like, and in the midst of that, outside looking in, it's hard to kind of understand what's going on here. It can kind of be viewed lackadaisic. It kind of be viewed as working off of luck. But it's like, nah, this is like 32 years in with this. Like, this is how me and that power communicates.
I mean, we all have to have that tool or whatever, something that kind of motivates us and pushes us.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, I believe it's John 15 where he says, you did not choose me, I chose you. I appointed you that you would go forth and bear fruit, and that fruit shall remain in anything you ask of the Father you shall receive. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, when I'm out there and I'm doing what it is, I'm remembering, you know, it's like someone said to me, Kenneth Chamberlain Jr., I'm walking down the street and I look and they're like, don't you give up. They're across the street yelling it, you know. And I look at them and they smile, and then they yelled out, many are called, but few are chosen, brother. You are chosen, you know. And I never really understood what that meant at that time when it was first said to me. I'm like, huh? You know.
It's path.
You know, so,
path.
you know, but I get it now.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell people, like, I'm not afraid, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been afraid. And I think that's, you know, I say it's a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
like, because,
That's
you know.
full. That's real. You say that.
If we gonna do it, then let's do it. Like,
Yeah.
no matter what the situation is, if we gonna do it, then let's do it.
I don't think Malcolm arrived to that point. He was born that way.
You know, so.
You think of him running the city as red. When you think of him, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's always had that, you know,
he just
living for the cause.
He took red from a different situation and built it into what you see. You know, it's like people will say to me, "Oh, you know, like, of course I hear Kenneth Chamberlain, you know, but I still hear yo big bro, you know, or yo that's the big homie, that's the big bro right there, you know." I'm still that person.
Facts.
You know, I'm still that person.
Yeah.
You know, I'm doing real big bro moves.
Facts.
I'm doing real big homie moves.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not telling you to do nothing ignorant. I'm not co-signing none of your nonsense.
Facts.
Okay? If I drive down the street and I'm seeing one of your youngins walking down the street, I pulled over, roll my window down. He's like, "What's up, big bro?" I said, "Why you ain't in school?" I'm on my way now. Get in the car.
Simple.
Drove him right to the school. Said, "Go inside."
Yeah.
You know? I'm not going to be out here condoning you doing some nonsense. I'm supposed to be elevating you.
That's it.
You know? I'm saying, if I'm at this level, I need you at this level. I need you to surpass me. Not be underneath me. I need you to surpass me. And this is what people don't understand. Like, so there's no jealousy there. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
If I'm here and you got here and now you're here, that's where I want you to be.
Right.
So now you're there, you're going to bring somebody here and then they're going to go here.
Facts. He's talking about the steps in the last
You
show.
know? So if we really building and we trying to build with each other, that's what it's really about. That's what it's really about. So, you know, this is why I answer to Kenan, big bro, big homie, Jihad. I answer to all of those.
Yeah.
Okay? Because they're all me.
Facts.
They're all who I am and they're all what people know me as.
Right.
You know? So,
Stay true to that.
you know, but the work is all the same. You know?
The work is all the same.
You know, like me said, what? It's levels to this. So, you know, when I was moving on this level a long time ago, now I'm not there no more. Now I'm here. Okay? So I can't be talking this nonsense down here, being on this level right here.
Right.
You can't. You can't. You know? You know, I'm not gonna tell you to go, "Oh yeah, yo, you should go out there and super violate this dude right now." Nah, I'm not gonna tell you that. All right, what happened?
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's resolve
what
it.
happened. Let's fix it. How do we fix it? You know, what I'm
How do we get in contact or link in? Because I want to promote that 100 Black Fathers. I want you to just what's the route to kind of link in with what's going on?
It's funny that while sitting here talking to you, one of the people from 100 Black Fathers called on the phone just now, and then I just saw his comment. He said, "No, that's why you didn't pick up the phone." You know, because he saw the little video with me and you.
Okay.
So you could go right on Facebook, and you can see 100. You can see 100 Black Fathers right on there.
Okay.
You know,
yeah, I definitely want the viewers to kind of scoot over
could go
there.
on, and you could go on Instagram. Yeah, it says 100 Black Fathers Inc. on Instagram. You see, go right on there.
All right.
Go on it, because the whole point is we want people in other states to pick up on it too.
Facts.
Like, we got a brother in North Carolina that's working down there with it. You know,
Gotcha.
So it's like, let's say you're here and you say, we want to start it here. Boom. It's like, so now you got 100 Black Fathers Inc. chapter in North Carolina. You got a chapter in Maryland. You got a chapter in New York. You got, you know, and it's like now Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, the vision could be one day where we have a big 100 Black Fathers convention somewhere.
Yeah.
And you got Black fathers from all over.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, all over this country who all come together because, see, we can't allow them to minimize the role of the Black male in the Black family anymore. You know, we can't do that. You know, and yeah, we gotta stop calling our women bitches and calling them queens. Start calling them queens.
Gotta get better.
How you doing, queen?
Facts.
How are you today, queen? You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, and I mean,
It's work.
I ain't gonna sit there and act like I ain't never used that word, okay?
it's
So
work.
before somebody look at this, oh yeah, act like he ain't never said it. Yes, I have said it before. Okay, I have said it.
Yeah.
I don't say it now, you know, but I have said it in the past. But I try to be, whenever I'm talking to Black women, I try to refer to them as queen.
Facts.
You know?
Facts. Gotta keep them on that pedestal.
You know, so.
Nah, yeah, that energy, what you want, because all of that's what we emulating. We trying to emulate here. That's what we try to present here. That's the narrative we want to push. It's you're threatening to what's going on, and that's what we want to do. We want to threaten this shit, man. Like I said, man, I really appreciate you being here. You know, I love you to death, man. We gotta bring you back on here because I want to break down. We're gonna do a show specifically on prison reform. You know, and it's good to have an expert, you know what I'm saying, on the show with that, because a lot of people hear those terms don't really understand. And I want to save that for a whole show. I think that's very important. You got people out here fighting for something they don't even understand, right? And I don't even want to start criticizing it until I understand it, right? So we definitely gonna bring you on. But I genuinely, truly appreciate you being here. Mad love, cause you already know the vibes. You know what I'm saying?
Know that.
Thank you for being a vessel, man. We want to give you your flowers here. Anybody we have here that's out there on them front lines that's really fighting for our people. You know, you are elder by age, but you are elder by action. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that right there, you know what I'm saying? That's powerful. That's verily verified, man. And that's where we gonna chop it here. Thank everybody for coming out, for just sitting around, building with us, learning from us, learning from our guests on the show, man. We literally here for y'all. Like, we could take the information that we have, go live off somewhere off the grid, and you know what I'm saying, and wait this shit out. You know what I'm saying? But people are really out on the front lines, and you know what I'm saying, they're really fighting. Like, you know, it's powerful because the brother here, he's fighting for something that's already happened to him to keep it from happening to you. You know, we have to really like digest that and understand that a lot of these people they're out here marching, bearing crosses that you got no idea of. So, we thank God for people like you. You know, you didn't give up on the youth, and you keep doing what you're doing, and we gonna keep pushing that. That's the narrative that we like pushed here. You know, we gonna have nothing but black kings and queens on this show. You know, and you know what I'm saying? Always good to have my bro Mo Rich in the building. Always mediating, keeping things on point. This one we ain't even really get too wild with it. It just flowed just perfectly. It definitely did. But it's another episode of Verily Verified. Make sure you check this out on all platforms. You like, you subscribe. Yeah, I ain't even telling you to like. If you don't like it, click down like. You know what I'm saying? That button there too, man. But it shows that you engaged. It shows that you a part of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? If you do leave a dislike, leave a comment as to why. And let us dialogue, man. Let's make this comfortable and uncomfortable at the same time. All right. God bless y'all. Stay safe, man. Take it easy.
Peace.